men, the vast majority of men, if they were 90% of the elementary school or 80% of the elementary school teachers, as women are, they would not take 6-year-olds to drag queen story hour.
Right.
Okay, it's just that's just a fact.
Dennis Prager is once again destroying the entirety of the woke cult. This time, he goes so hard and goes off so much on the woke cult that he shocks this podcast host here, this interviewer, Adam Carolla here, live on the Adam Carolla Show. Let's get into this clip where Dennis Prager absolutely goes nuclear on the woke cult here.
I can't tell you which way the troops are coming from or how many there are. It just has that guy, but he's never wrong when he has a bad feeling. You are one of the only people I hear speaking about women and how women have been such a large part of our decision making and governance, and how we've been told repeatedly, like, if we only had a woman in charge, we'd have no more war, and this, and all this kind of stuff. And it's something I've been drilling down on and talking to Dr. Drew about it a lot, sort of off the air. And I wrote a book called In 50 Years We'll All Be Chicks, and that book is 16 years old now. And you're the only one who has been sort of brave enough to speak about some of these ideas, because it always immediately falls under the heading of misogyny. But that's not what it is. It's more of an observation.
Yeah, so first the observation. I have so much to react to. First of all, I just want to comment on your use of the word brave. So like you, it's part of our mutual appeal. We both ruminate on these things. And so I've thought a lot about that. I don't know how much credit I get for saying things that I know will elicit some vicious response, let's say.
Dennis famously said that if you're a good husband and you treat your wife well and she's not in the mood on one particular night to be intimate, you should take one for the team because you got a good man. And then that, of course, gets spun into Dennis Prager says it's okay to rape your wife.
Right.
Right. And yes. Going in.
That's right. I know
what they're going to do with
so
that.
Here, it's not a direct answer. I'm going to directly answer the issue that you raised about the women. But I wanted to comment on that. I would say that pursuit of truth and courage are synonymous.
Yes, I agree.
I know you agree because that's you. And so people need to understand that if you don't have courage, you can't pursue truth. And if you pursue truth, that means you have courage. So they're almost synonymous. I don't take too much credit for this because I don't have the capacity to shut up about what I believe is true. And my belief is let the chips fall where they may. If I said it appropriately, and if what I said is accurate, then I have to say it.
Right.
Okay, so I just want to say, so with regard to women, if one says, in terms of murder and mayhem and violence and rape, pretty much men have a monopoly. Mm-hmm. Am I called a man-hater?
No.
Of course not. But if I say that in America today, women are playing a disproportionate role in breaking down cultural norms, that's called misogyny. Because, and here's the irony, you can criticize men, but you cannot criticize women, which leads to another observation of mine. Feminism has made women weaker, not stronger.
It's 100% facts from Dennis Prager, and we have to give him his credit for sure. Like Dennis Prager just said, he probably better than anyone is able to just articulate himself and say the actual truth, say whatever it is that he's genuinely thinking without caring about the backlash that's going to come. And even when it comes in real time, even when Dennis Prager is debating someone live on a show, he'll say things knowing that they're going to lose their minds about it. And even after they lose their minds, he still calmly just dismantles all of their arguments. So Dennis Prager is by far one of the best, if not the best out there at doing that. But also what he's saying is genuinely just 100% true. There are groups out there where, you know, if you attack white men, if you attack straight men, if you attack straight white men, you know, any of those groups of people, it's completely fine. It's actually celebrated, you know, keep going. Yes, that was great. Great job. You did great. But then if you attack any other group of people, any other skin color, any other sexuality, any other gender, then they lose their minds. They absolutely lose it. So Dennis Prager's spot on there, you know, and the great thing is he understands that. He understands that you're not supposed to criticize anyone except for straight white men. And he still does it all the time. You know, he'll criticize straight white men just as much as he criticizes black women. You know, he doesn't care. And that's what I like about Dennis Prager so much.
I agree with that. And, you know, for me, it was sort of like, look, women and men are different, and that's a good thing. And that's why it's good to have a mother and a father. And you take something like COVID. My wife at the time's approach to it was very different than my approach. And there was a difference with most women than a lot of men. There's certainly outliers. I know you and your lovely wife, Sue, probably on the same page.
Right.
Other people, normally it's the woman's role to say, look, if you're going out to the thing, make sure and you wash your hands before you come back into the house with the kids. You know, okay, there's a difference. There's just a difference. And so if you took the city of Los Angeles and you said, Adam Carolla's in charge, this is what we're going to do, it would have been a very different outcome than if you said my ex-wife was in charge, this is what we're going to do. Because we're different.
Right.
And many of these cities and so if you take a lot of women and you put them in positions of power, you know, have them head
If you enjoy content like this, then make sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel. It really does help me out a ton. Let's get back to the video.
up the Coastal Commission and have them head up the response to COVID and just have him be the mayor, the whatever. The outcomes will be different. Now, let's not assign a pejorative to it. I'm not even saying, let's not say it's bad. It is bad, but let's just not say it's bad. It will be different than what it was.
Yes.
And we are now experiencing that. And maybe the most striking definition of it is Kamala Harris, woman, Trump man, and he's talking about drilling and building fences and tariffs and, you know, tax rates. And she's talking about everyone being welcome at the table and treated with dignity, which is a much more feminine thought than fracking and building a border wall.
Oh, that's exactly right. The teachers of our children are overwhelmingly women. Okay, so that's about as big a proof or perfect a proof as you can offer. Men, the vast majority of men, if they were 90% of the elementary school or 80% of the elementary school teachers as women are, they would not take 6-year-olds to drag queen story hour.
Right.
Okay, it's just that's just a fact. Some would. There are outliers in both directions, and some women oppose it. But the fact that women make up nearly all kindergarten teachers and the vast majority, I mean, well over 70% of elementary school teachers, we have a feminization of our curricula.
Yeah.
And it's about feelings. It's not about learning. It's about feelings.
Yes, and I say this all the time. If everybody at the school was vegetarian, there would not be Meatloaf Friday anymore. That would not last. If there would not be any barbecue, they would eventually get rid of it. And then they can say, well, they're not taking their vegan politics and saddling the kids with it. But if everyone there was a vegan, the meat would go post-haste. It would go, and they can't help it. And that's what they do. I think there's also a little bit of a thing, which is
I think that's facts though, from Dennis Prager there and from Adam Carolla. 100%. It's facts, and people don't want to hear it, but there very much is a silent majority, right? Like, if everybody really wanted children to be taught like this wild stuff in schools about like trans people and stuff like that, if everybody really wanted that, then there would just be no pushback, you know? Like they're saying, if everybody was vegetarian, they just wouldn't serve meat. But the reason why there's pushback, the reason why there's an argument, is because the majority of people out there, they just want to live their life and be unbothered and just have their children learn normal things in school. They just want to go through their life and for their life to just be normal. You know, it's not really that difficult. People just want to be like left alone, have their kids be left alone, and just taught how to add and subtract and read and write, and just stop pushing the agenda onto their kids and stop pushing the agenda down the adult's throat as well. And they just want to go about their life. Whereas the people who are trying to push the stuff onto people, like Dennis Prager is talking about, those people are the super loud ones. Those are the people who are trying to shove things down people's throat and try to make you accept and make you apologize and get on a knee and bow down to, you know, the woke cult. And, you know, it's forcing people to say, no thanks. But for the majority of people who are on the right wing or who just are on the side of common sense, they don't want to get all riled up and start protesting and start yelling and screaming about it. They just want to be left alone. Like, that's how I feel. Like, just leave me alone. You know, I don't want to shove my ideas down your throat. Just let me live my own life, you know, and when I have to send my kids to school, I don't want them to be learning all this weird stuff that you want them to learn. It's as simple as that. And there's a reason why, you know, like they were saying, if everybody at the school is a vegetarian, they wouldn't be serving meatloaf. You know, and I think that's 100% facts. Let me know in the comments what you guys think about Dennis Prager, once again, going off on the woke cult, and Adam Carolla joining in as well. But you could tell, you know, he made him a little bit uncomfortable. He was a little bit shocked by how out there Dennis Prager was willing to be in the beginning of this, whenever he was saying like, yeah, you know, I knew I was going to get that backlash. I knew I'm going to get backlash for all this stuff that I say, but it doesn't really matter to me because I'm saying the truth. And I respect that a whole lot from Dennis Prager. Let me know in the comments what you guys think about this whole Dennis Prager versus the woke cult situation.